So I remember running by the sheriff's office to take a break, just, on patrol, get out of the car, drove up to Gerald, Texas. There was a truck stop up there. I went into the trucker's lounge, and that's where I saw it on TV for the first time. So just mesmerized.
I was on the middle of a drill field, helping teach the next wave of Austin firefighters. I can remember walking in from the drill field, everybody was gathered around the TV, and then, saw what everybody saw, buildings on fire, and just unimaginable.
And this is early internet, when the blotter at the bottom would say a plane had just struck the towers. So I opened a live stream in downtown New York to watch the second plane live slam into that building.
My wife had turned the TV on, and she said, "Come here, look at this." And so I did, and wound up spending the majority of the day there.
I'd never been to New York, so you really can't grasp the Twin Towers, them falling or anything like that. It's the human loss that was done. How many people were involved? You hear the number 3,000 or just over 3,000.
Having served in the Navy for 20 years prior to that, I probably was pretty angry that something like that could happen.
I watched Americans lean out of a window, look down dozens of floors, and come back in and look into a smoke-filled room that was getting hotter and hotter, and have to make the decision of whether they're going to burn alive or they're going to jump to their death. And I was sitting there deciding what pants I was going to wear to a party. I could not have felt more useless. I couldn't have felt so far from my purpose of what I should have been doing, which then began the journey of what I then dedicated the rest of my life to.
Being stationed at Fort Hood for 9 years, I'd just gotten out of the Army in May of '99, but it was everyone that was still at Fort Hood when I got out, knowing they were deploying, going over to combat, the ramifications of those actions that are still, it was a 20-year war, that are still, my son went over there.
I walked into a recruiter's office on 9/11. Well, actually, I walked to a recruiter's office because there were thousands of people in front of me. I didn't actually get to see a recruiter until 9/12, and that began the beginning of being part of the Green Berets, the U.S. Army Special Forces, first unit to go into Afghanistan, and the last ones to leave.
The people that were on the flight that was destined to go to the Pentagon.
Even in the moment of knowing that they probably weren't going to make it, and made this big decision to take the plane down so that other people would live.
A flight that burnt into the ground because the people on board knew that it was going to be destined for something devastating.
They were heroes in my mind. In a way, it brought a lot of us together as citizens of this country.
For me, to never forget means to do something, to take action, to contribute.
It's like an indelible mark that we should lean forward in our lives, to not stay static, that we should try to get better every day, to continue to learn, to continue to grow, so that whatever's coming our way, I'll be able to handle it.
Never forget is to me personally, is to always be vigilant. Don't get so, proud of yourself or full of pride that nothing can happen. Always think that something can happen.
I think for me personally, when I think about 9/11, one of the things that sticks out is that evil exists, like it's a thing, and it was manifested, in that terrible way on 9/11. It's also a reminder that we all have a duty to act. And so that could be pulling a kid out of the street because a car's coming their way, or it could be something bigger that you're knocking on a door because the apartment's on fire, but just looking around, and that we have a duty to act as human beings, to be able to serve, to be able to look for places to, how can I help?
But my recollections of that day, it broke my heart. This fallen world that we live in. You never know what's around the corner or what's on the calendar for tomorrow. And all we can do is just put our hope and faith in Christ and trust God for His guidance, His protection, and direction in our lives, and follow Him.